Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In the Gallery with Laura Ali. I am your host, Laura Ali, and today we're going to get right into it. Today we are going to discuss Sarah Boone's interrogation. This is shortly after she kills Jorge Torres. I believe it's maybe a Tuesday, and the murder happened on a Sunday. Um, this is back in 2020, February of 2020, and this is the height of COVID. So I just want to preface that the investigator slash interrogator has a cough that is it could get to you, that cough alone. And you're in a little tin can, like it's not a tin can, but it's concrete. I think that's so everything echoes, and that cough, it's not for the faint of heart. So I just preface that in case you do have some type of sensitivity there. Just brace yourself if you haven't seen it before. So we're gonna put this on 1.5 just to keep it running smoothly because it is about a 2 hour interrogation. And of course, we're going to have to split this up. So we're just going to get right into it. Let's transition over.
Just let us know if at any time you need more. Okay. I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday. Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have
I will say the investigator, I really do value both of the investigators in here. I think they have a strategy of good cop, bad cop. I do question if the female investigator, she's coming off bad cop, which for Sarah, you kind of need that. Um, 'Cause I wonder, what I'm trying to get at is I wonder if the investigator if she would have been, or both of them would have just been like, Sarah, we're your friends, like this was put upon you, poor you, Sarah. I wonder how she would have responded. She definitely would have put all the blame on George, which she does already. But I wonder if she would have been like, yeah, I'm just a battered spouse, poor me. So I wonder, it's kind of like the phrase of like getting more honey than, you know, the phrase.
to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one, one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So I want, so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit, and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you.
Sorry about that. So it's just funny because Sarah goes like, "Oh yeah, I know where that's from." Like the scratches on his back. Like, Sarah, please take it down a notch. You take it down a notch. She is so ridiculous.
Or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. Um, he had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know, and he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago, or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there like last Tuesday.
Okay, Sarah bringing up her son, like she's trying to act so like, oh my goodness, I don't know where that's from. I might slow it down just a bit because I just want to get Sarah's cadence. Like, part of it is cadence for, for understanding or just deciphering her lies. And if it's sped up too quickly, you won't really be able to take that in. But so I'll slow it down just slightly. But I do want to say it's like, why are you bringing up your son? Your son has not been there in a week or however long it has nothing to do with what happened on Sunday. So let's stay to the point, Sarah.
Last, I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then
That's
into
why
Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused, because we had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally.
This is the funniest part. Well, okay, let me just rephrase that. It's not funny. None of this is funny. She murdered George, and she is um completely insensitive to that. But I say funny in more of an ironic way, is that we had a good time. We were good. We were on our best behavior. Everyone was behaving themselves until later in the interrogation, which you'll see that, oh no, he comes at me. He comes at me. I'm the innocent angel from above, and I've done nothing wrong. It's George, the one that was in the suitcase. He's the problem, not the person that put him in there, but or zipped him up in there, because I'm assuming he stepped in there voluntarily. But anyway, um, oh Sarah.
Paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't.
I'm sorry. In your 40s, who's painting, doing puzzles, and playing? Who does that? Who does that? Do you do that? Does anyone, am I missing out on some painting, puzzles, and playing? Now listen, I love a good paint day. Like, I'm artistic. I enjoy myself. But a paint, puzzles, and play day, I don't see them as this type. I'm not saying that these types don't exist. They do exist for sure. But Sarah and George, with their drinking, their day drinking, their pass out drinking, I don't see them as being those constructive type of hobby folk. I may be wrong.
I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head, his skull,
I have no idea.
as if something hit him.
I
Considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your?
That's a phrase I haven't used. Like, I've watched this interrogation a few times, and I must have missed that. Tell me and we'll both know. I might start using that phrase because that is a very, like, tell me and we'll both know. It's like, oh, I don't know, you know? Yeah. She knows how he got those bruises. She knows fully well how he got those bruises, Sarah.
Fingernails?
No.
Okay, are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Mhm.
It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical.
She says we even with ex-wives and everything. It's like specifically you have an ex-husband, and I would say Sarah's ex-husband Brian is uh the more stable one out of the people in the picture. I don't know about George's ex-wife, but In terms of stability, ma'am, don't just talk, the ex-wives are the problem. You're the problem. You're part of the problem. The ex-wife is probably looking for child support to support their children that she has with George. Okay, which I don't blame. I don't blame the ex-wife on that. She needs support to raise their children. You, on the other hand, I, Sarah,
Well, was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks? That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So.
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me.
and here we go. It didn't take long. We're only 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in. The investigator just says, "What's your definition of good?" I don't think that's a crazy question to ask. What's your definition of good? I can tell you my definition of good is behaving, following rules, being a law-abiding citizen. And then she just says, "Well, I've been good." He comes at me. He's attacking me. I'm the good one. I'm the innocent angel.
So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so.
Give or take.
Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you? Like.
He gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if y'all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
See, she's trying to feel out the investigators. I would suspect she casually brings up, I don't know if you've looked through my pictures or videos, just to see their reaction. Now, I think she does think her deleting the video of trapping George in the suitcase, when she deleted it, I think she thought it was actually deleted. However, I think she wants to know how much they're really looking into this. Like, assuming this is the first and only person that Sarah's murdered, which I truly believe so, because she was horrible, like, at it. She tortured this person to death and left him in a suitcase. So I'm going to assume this is the first person she's murdered. I think she wants to think, or she wants to see how much trouble she's in. Are they looking at these pictures? Are they checking my phone? Are they, well, I guess she knows they checked her phone, but how much are they checking into her phone? And it's like, Sarah, they're going to check all of your phone, every single bit of it. And this is a side note. I actually had this conversation with my coworkers the other day, but there's a feature where you can search for your photos in your phone. And it's like, in order for that feature to exist, like, I didn't know this existed, because I'm not super tech savvy when it comes to, like, I think I just kind of stopped back in 2011, and I was like, okay, this is where my technology is, like, that's the extent of it. But you can search photos, or whatever you're trying to look for in your phone. I'm assuming videos as well. So in order for that feature to exist, every single photo you have in your phone must be scanned. Every single video has to be, like, ran through AI to know what's in it, to know what you're searching for. So if you're, like, searching, like, oh, Miami Beach, and a whole bunch of Miami Beach pictures come up in your phone, it's due to that. So anyway, I say all that to say, even if I guess even if Sarah thought, like, okay, well, maybe they didn't, like, look that deep into it. It's like everything you have is in the cloud. So once you record it, it's already out there. So even you deleting it is not gonna matter. But Sarah's not that smart, so.
You all will see in my pictures bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's,
Then why are you still with him?
everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him, like I do, and I feel like I can help him. Like, I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he's
No, no, Sarah. You are with him because you are codependent. You are with him because you wanted to be with somebody that was just a little bit worse off than you. You were with him because he made you feel good about yourself. And she tries to come off like the battered spouse, like, oh, I don't know why I stayed with him after all this that he's put me through. That is why you stayed with him. You stayed with him because it stroked your ego, knowing that you had to tell him what to do and he was worse off than you compared to Brian, her ex-husband, who had his life together. And you left that relationship to go be with degenerate, excuse me, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but the people she ran with at the time were degenerate. They were alcoholics, degenerates from like whatever bar she would hang out in. So, and that's just a fact. I mean, so I, I think her trying to put on this act of like, oh, I don't know why I was with him. I don't know why I put up with this. It's clear and evident why you put up with it. It's because he made you feel good about yourself and he unfortunately didn't have the self-esteem and self-love for himself to leave because he should have left Sarah. He should have left her a long time ago. But I guess in terms of convenience and opportunity,
he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he
Sarah talking about bailing him out of jail 3 times when she put him in jail. Those 3 times she put him in jail. So it's like, why are you bailing him out? If you're gonna put him in jail for domestic violence, leave him in jail for domestic violence. Why are you bailing him out?
was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you
Sarah is lying? Why is she acting like she doesn't want to drink with George? That was probably her favorite daytime activity was drinking with George. Why is she acting like that she didn't enjoy that? She went for a bike ride. Sarah, when was the last time you rode a bike? I really want to know when's the last time she rode a bike or she read a book. What was the last book you read, Sarah? That's what I wish the investigators asked her. What was the last book you read? And tell me about it. What was the plot?
have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that, so he would literally, not literally,
I'm sorry, this is when I start to get so annoyed with her because she keeps talking about herself like she's better than. Sarah, you're not better than. You did not have the ability to do 50 things at once because you would not pick up your son from school. There are plenty of times Brian would obsessively have to call Sarah to make sure that she was picking up Lucas from school. And if he didn't hear from her, he just went to pick up Lucas because he knew that he didn't want his child sitting out there. And he knew if he didn't hear from her, she was probably on a bender. She was probably drunk. She was probably passed out. So why is she trying to act like she's mom of the year, mom almighty? She's always, she has a million things to do. She has to wake up early. Sarah, no, you don't. And even on the day of this, the following day, so I guess it was the Monday, when she woke up I think she woke up at like 11 o'clock or something, and like that was her regular time to wake up. That's not someone that's so super productive that you're waking up at 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, I just get it just really starts to get me annoyed.
but had smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill.
Mhm.
And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers.
Mhm.
She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down.
Mhm.
Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you,
It was
I mean,
the
you
weekend.
told me on the, yeah, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like,
What does she mean she can't get drunk? That she's one of those people that she could just drink endlessly? Is that what she's talking about? What does she mean she can't get drunk? She definitely can get drunk. And I love that she is harping in on this right now because she told the investigator the previous day in the car interrogation or the car interview, oh no, we were sober, sober day. No one was drinking, everyone was behaving themselves, everyone was great. But now, but she wasn't drunk. He was drunk maybe, but she wasn't drunk. She was still innocent, Sarah.
being non-complimentous, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mhm.
So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
no.
it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine, and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah,
over.
about this much.
Mhm. And then that you had well, I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, 'cause I
Sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to
No.
Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store.
So I love how she says most of the time. She slips up in that moment because if she's trying to keep the narrative they that that she's not part of this drinking, you know, uh I want to call it an escapade, but it's not an escapade, just drinking, binge drinking. She's not part of the binge. But then she says, like, that's what he normally does. He goes to Publix. So typically what he does is he goes to like that's the normal routine. But if you're not a binge drinker, or an alcoholic, why do you have a routine about getting your alcohol? Listen, I love a drink just like the rest of them, but when you have a routine, like maybe it's your Friday routine, maybe it's your Thursday routine, fair and fine. But it seems like this is closer to a daily routine for them. So that's, oh, Sarah.
Where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll start, go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
Is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So that's,
Okay.
it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry, and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, like, just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because, I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies, we're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise, where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind.
Well, Sarah, you better get used to it. Well, I think she has in the past 4 years. She's been in jail, but you better get used to being there in there without a peep, in a little concrete room with nothing to do and no one to talk to. Right now, she's occupying herself with the trial and preparing for the trial. We know that. We've seen her advertisements for lawyers. We've seen her go through 7, 8. I think they stopped at 8. Was it the 8th lawyer that they stopped at? It could have been the 7th. So she's been occupying herself, and she has to defend herself now. She's going to be a pro se defendant. So she's defending herself in court. So she needs to, spend her time brushing up. But after the trial, after the appeals, because we know Sarah's going to appeal, then what? Then what, Sarah? When you're in that little concrete room, we're talking maybe 5, 8 years down the line, because she's gonna go through her appeals. She's gonna go through the, you know, however many they get. I guess I know it's Florida. I need to look up if it's a death penalty. I'll look it up in the meantime. Florida, I know is good for the death penalty. So I'll check in just a minute while we're watching. But then what, Sarah? What are you gonna do with your time? Since you're so much better than George, you don't need background noise, right? It's like she always tries to put herself up on this pedestal. George is down here. He needs all this stimulation. He needs this, he needs that. Whereas I'm up here. I read, I do painting, I do puzzles. I'm this high thinking individual, and little George with his nonsense and his drinking and his ex-wife and his issues and problems. I'm up here. I'm doing a million things a day. He doesn't have a job. He's just tinkering around. Sarah, you don't have a job.
Because the trailers were cool, and he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
On your laptop you're talking about?
Mhm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was.
But you said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship. You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting.
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say. With just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because.
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
Daughters.
stress.
Yes.
Nothing relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
just
like
what's
the stress?
going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him, so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship, where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like, I have almost everything. Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form.
What a completely narcissistic, uh, like sociopathic. What title can we put on this? What label can we put on this? To say that you know someone better than they know themselves? Who who are you? Who are you that you know them better than they've been with themselves their entire life? Like, well, his entire life he's been with himself. Hold on, I'm looking up to see how old George was. 42 years old. George was 42 years old. Were you with him for 42 years? You know him better than he knows himself. That's almost again insulting to George. George wasn't in tune with who he was. He didn't know himself, although he spent 42 years with himself. He was born with himself. He died with himself. He knew himself. To say that you knew the grandiose, that's what it is. It's a grandiose type mentality where she is all seeing, all being, better than, God complex type energy. Who are you, Sarah, to know somebody better than they know themselves? And that's what it is. That's her whole energy, is that George was nothing without me. And without, he wouldn't barely survive. He wouldn't even be able to eat or drink or live. He wouldn't have a home without me. Not true, because he had a family who loved and supported him. But his family said, if you're going to keep going back with Sarah, we can't support you, which I agree with not enabling. You have to set boundaries and you cannot enable. So I agree with the family. They did what they had to do. Sarah, okay, Sarah over here knew that, and I think she intentionally separated George from his family. She intentionally built that wedge there because she could have been the maybe the girlfriend that they liked. Maybe, I don't know. But she chose to be in opposition to them. She chose to kind of have this negative energy with them. And I wonder if she did that on purpose so she can have George all to herself. I wonder. I wonder.
Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never
help?
stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable.
No, Sarah, you're here right now because you tried to murder him. Well, excuse me, not tried to. You did murder him. I said try to because she said she's trying to still help him. No, you murdered the man, and that is why you're there. You're not there to help him. You're there to help yourself because obviously you are suspect numero uno. There's no one else that was in the house besides you and the suitcase and the dog and George. So you're gonna blame it on the dog? Because it wasn't the dog. You can't blame it on the suitcase, which she kind of tries to do. We didn't get there yet, but she kind of tries to. Well, there were two fingers. We'll get there. I'll digress.
how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you
I'm going to stop pausing because I know we want to get through this. I'm literally only 17 minutes and I need to shut up. But she says nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody. I forget the term for it exactly, but she's trying to it's a general statement she's trying to make, but also a dehuman dehumanizing statement, I wonder. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like if you say, oh, nobody was hurt, but okay, this is a perfect example. So you ever go out and maybe you go to a party or a gathering and it's like, oh, nobody was there. There were people there, but maybe nobody you knew was there. So it's kind of like minimizing, like, it wasn't the swing. Same thing here, same example. She's saying nobody was doing anything to nobody. Nobody, like, but just say I didn't hurt George and George didn't hurt me. There was only two of you in the house with the dog. So why are you making this general statement? Just, oh God.
you would take photos, videos, kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say, she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it and would always come home and show me his papers.
And I just want to say this, the fact that George, and not that I put too much stock into what Sarah has to say, but I do believe George was starting to change. I do believe George was on a path of saying, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better father. Maybe I don't want to, if they were getting physical, I don't want to get physical with you anymore. So he was on that path. But I think someone like Sarah, she sees someone on a path of healing and she's going to drag them right back to destruction and despair within their life. I don't think she was really happy that he was getting better. I think, and I've said it earlier, she wanted him to stay as a degenerate with her. Because then, if he becomes a better person, who is she going to look down on?
We would look over his papers together, where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches, to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Even when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee. And I don't know if you would like to see on my phone.
I just have to say this because it's just driving me crazy. The fact that she said everyone tells me that, like, we, like we need to separate, or, you can only take but so much kind of mindset. The fact that she mentions that the property manager of her development, of her apartment community, has told her that as well. Why does the property manager know your personal business to the extent of you need to separate yourself from George? Why is that? I, I, I don't understand why people involve other people, complete strangers, in their business. It's the oddest thing to me. I don't want to know about your personal life with this man. And if it's at the point where the police are at my property enough that I know now that you guys have an issue and I need to give you one-on-one advice, that's a whole nother level. I don't even want you in my community because you're a problem now. You're a nuisance. You're the problem.
Or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him
I
out
know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it, like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place.
And good on George's family. Good on them. It didn't work out, obviously, to the way that they have hoped, I would assume, because they would want their son alive and well and here with them today. But you have to set boundaries, because then you're doing the back and forth. George had his own choice to make in terms of not blaming him. Do I want to stay with this woman? Do I want to leave this woman? He, in my opinion, was the battered spouse. He did not see his worth enough to realize he should not stay with someone who is abusing them, whether she was abusing him physically or emotionally. Just based on what I've heard, she was abusing him emotionally. And I feel bad that George did not have the opportunity yet to recognize that and to save himself from this woman.
It's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over, because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But what did he say? Every waking moment he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't, you kind of like lost me. Like what are you?
It was a little while ago.
But now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately, or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets.
Sarah, what does the ex-wife have to do with you putting George in a suitcase? What does the ex-wife have to do with that? You put this man in a suitcase. What does the ex-wife have to do with that? Nothing at all. It's an odd, it's an odd thing to bring up. And and I want to say her relationship with the ex-wife is completely irrelevant as well. Why are you talking about that she's a monster and she's this and that? She didn't put him in a suitcase, you did. So if you want to know who I think is a monster right now, it's the person that puts someone in a suitcase and leaves them there. And leaves them there. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, guys, because I just want to get through at least 45 minutes of this.
Upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this is not like been recent, but which is why he doesn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do, though, with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, previously,
okay,
why the incidents, what happened is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
I do love this investigator though. Although like I do have some critiques. Of course I'm gonna have critiques, right? We're in the gallery. That's just what it is. But I love that she's like, okay, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? What happened on Sunday? What does that have to do with it?
Her job and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
No, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could.
About what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking?
And you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish, but those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we went out there.
Really quick, who plays hide and seek at 42? You're playing hide and seek. I I think I played the last time I played hide and seek, and I mentioned this before. Like I used to nanny, so I played hide and seek, and the kids I was probably babysitting at the time were probably like between like six, 7. Maybe there was a 5 in there. There were a couple of kids, and they had friends over. So yeah, we did a hide and seek, but like they got bored of it very quickly. They were like, all right, enough of this. Let's go do something else. At 40 something years old, this is your Sunday activity and you're not drunk, by the way. Like if you're drunk, maybe I could see like let's play a little hide and seek. Okay, fine. But you're telling me you're not drunk and you're playing hide and seek completely sober?
Too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then.
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like. Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there.
Right.
Just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it's starting to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Started at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off. That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs.
And then from hide and seek, they play tag. Tag, you're it, she says. They're playing tag. Don't you play tag in your townhouse in your 40s when you're not drunk? Don't you play tag? Doesn't everyone play tag? Tag, you're it. Sarah,
And then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because,
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
well,
I mean, we were playing.
no, I know,
that
but
time, but
I'm saying, well, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so.
the suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations, and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously,
No.
I understand, you know, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's
Yeah.
your phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I buy your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the base thing. Where sometimes, too, like, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password, and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm
Yes.
assuming, other
Well,
than...
Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday.
Right.
Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
The dogs?
and George, and had them dancing, but I mean, or it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
this is it, guys. The suspense of this. The way, I will say, the way the investigator leads up to it. So no one else has access to your phone. This is completely normal for no one to have access to your phone, right? Only you would have access to your phone. Establishing that no one else could have taken this video. No one else was in the house with you guys. It was just you guys who took this video. I mean, we know who took it because we can hear George, which you're going to hear in a second, calling out for Sarah. And she says, "That's my name. Don't wear it out." Could you imagine those are the last words you're hearing? And you're trapped in a suitcase and you cannot breathe?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right.
I think it was True Crime Loser, who I'm a huge fan of, Scott, huge fan. He when he does a synopsis of this interrogation, he mentions how like the suspense of this moment. Sarah hears, she only sees a slither of the video, and she just hears Sarah, Sarah, and it's like she knows what that video is. And then the battery dies. It's like the laptop is in on the dramatics as well. The battery dies, perfect timing, just enough to get her wheels going and to know that she She's she's in some deep stuff. Okay. Now, does that change her demeanor much? I don't think so. I think Sarah is just very indignant and she feels like she could do no wrong. But with that being said, I mean, she knows. She knows this isn't good.
No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and,
No.
okay, but why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am, where,
okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, like, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and
Okay, in that moment, she just brought up how she was a straight A student. Another irrelevant point. You're in your 40s. And then this is when she starts to blame the suitcase. Well, is she blaming the suitcase or is she blaming George? There were two fingers, like you could have done two fingers. Is she saying George wasn't smart enough to get out of the suitcase? Or is she saying there was some type of suitcase malfunction? Now, Sarah, I'm not trying to give you your defense, but the better choice would have been to go suitcase malfunction. We were playing. He knew he could get out. It must have been a suitcase malfunction. Then maybe she has a defense. But other than that, I, what are you gonna say? The suitcase, I left two fingers, and so what? He could not get out, and he made that very clear.
to sleep.
Okay. No, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it. Is that okay?
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity.
I love how Sarah is saying she does not want to see this video. Like who would want to see this, right? Like it's a horrible video to watch. But I love how you recorded this video. Now you don't want to look at it? It's on your phone, as the investigator said. Don't you want to see what's on your phone? Might be important. But Sarah doesn't want to look at it because Sarah knows what's on that video because Sarah looked at that video before she deleted it. When she woke up on Monday, she looked at that video and she was disgusted and bothered and terrified by what she did, I would say. But you're going to look at that video and you're going to look at that video a few more times before this trial is over because I can imagine the prosecution is going to open up with that video. I would. That playing that video is almost an open and shut case. Here's the video. Here's the person. He's dead. Once this crime happened, we all knew who murdered him, and we were all shocked to hear and see that video. So what is a jury gonna think?
Well, that's what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
That's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Yeah, that's when you do it. You choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that
And again, she doesn't want to watch this, and I don't blame her. I am going to actually pause it here because we're just about the one hour mark, and I just want to make sure that this isn't a super long video. So we'll pick up here where Sarah has to watch this, and I think I think it's just so telling how she just really does not want to watch her wrongdoing because she is perfect. She does no wrong. Sarah is the creme de la creme, right? So I think this trial is going to be very interesting. I said it before that I'm exhausted, Sarah, but at the same time, I'm also very fascinated. This is very separate, but I'm watching the Robert Tellis case or Tejas case in Las Vegas. And he has a whole mindset of he can do no wrong, right? And it's just, it fascinates me. I've said it before, like if I did the smallest thing, I would harp on it for forever. Like if I, the other day I misspelled someone's name and I kept like overthinking it. Like I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I misspelled their name. She put someone in a suitcase and murdered them. And she's like, I don't want to see that. Don't. All good here. You need to accept what you've done. And that's the problem. Lack of accountability. That should be Sarah's middle name. Anyway, we'll end it here. I will pick up exactly where we left off. We're right around the 34-minute mark. Funny enough, I'll just share with you guys, I did this interrogation recording and then my audio was horrible. The video audio was perfect. My audio was like weird and low, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I realized my mic wasn't connected. It was a whole thing. So I'm getting better because this is actually recorded. It's just unfortunate because you know when you're in the groove, and I feel like that was like such a great video. Um, it's unfortunate, but you guys will get this one, and I just wanted to share it because it's just Laura and working on the tech stuff. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.